We are being treated to an absolute week of football, and it's still only Saturday. 8 days from now, the Bears are going to be headed to Levi's Stadium, a showdown with potential one-seed implications. We just saw the Bears come back and beat the Green Bay Packers. Caleb Williams, DJ Moore, the bomb in overtime after the blown 10-point lead for Green Bay. The Bears finally exercised those Green Bay demons. They lost to him just a couple weeks ago. It was actually Keyshawn Nixon who intercepted the pass from Caleb Williams at Lambeau to close that game. Today, the opposite happens. Williams gets it over Keyshawn Nixon for the touchdown in overtime. Awesome entertainment. We can take a look at the box score. We can take a look at the standings. We're going to go through all of this. The Bears moved to 11-4. They have now passed the Green Bay Packers. The Bears, they're going to be in that NFC North complete driver's seat. The Packers not only lost Micah Parsons last week, but Jordan Love exited today. If you want a 49ers takeaway from this, Malik Willis, I thought, played really well. 9 of 11, 121 yards. He also ran for 44 yards, but it is not easy to be a backup quarterback in this league, and at some of the most critical junctures that Green Bay Packers offense just didn't work. That's why they finished with only 16 points. That's why they blew the lead. Remember that the 49ers have two quarterbacks in the top 4 of success rate in the NFL this season with Brock Purdy and Mac Jones. I've always said that if another team had to deal with the level of injury adversity that the 49ers have had to deal with, they would not have a record close to the 49ers record. Green Bay has just gotten a sniff of the 49ers level of injury adversity with losing Parsons last week and now losing Jordan Love early in this game. And it hasn't looked all too good for Green Bay. They lost to the Broncos last week. That put them out of control their own destiny mode for the number 1 seed, and now they lose to the Chicago Bears. The 49ers are in the midst of a truly epic run that really needs to be appreciated given the injuries that they have been able to overcome. Again, this is the graphic right here, and I know that I've shared this on earlier shows, but those of you just joining, I'm sure we're going to get some Bears fans in here, maybe some upset Packers fans in here. I know my last name is Lombardi, but I have nothing to do with covering the Packers, except for a reaction to that insane game. Look at this. These are the top 4 quarterbacks or top 6 quarterbacks in success rate in the entire NFL. The 49ers have 2 of them, in Purdy and Mac Jones. And the reason I bring this up is because we saw Jordan Love go down today. The Packers had to go to Malik Willis. It looked for a while that they might be able to win this game, but the larger point of it's not easy to win when you have major injuries comes in, and the 49ers have been able to win despite major injuries. So I want to make sure that Mac Jones gets his time in the sun right now, or I guess his time in the dark clouds because it's winter and it doesn't seem like there's good weather anywhere. But Jones has been instrumental to what the 49ers have been able to do this year to position themselves where they are. They have to play the Indianapolis Colts on Monday night. And, I mean, gosh, this weekend has already started in absolutely epic fashion. We saw Seahawks and Rams on Thursday night, and now we've seen this game between the Packers and the Bears on Saturday. Who knows what Sunday and then Monday will have in store. Although I do have to say, and I put this up on X, maybe this was destined to happen. Maybe on a weekend that saw the Seattle Seahawks come from behind in epic fashion at home, rules are rules, mojo is mojo, the Packers have to blow an onside kick to lose in devastating fashion. That obviously happened in the same game back in the 2014 season. This is the January 2015 NFC Championship game. It's Brandon Bostic seeing the onside kick bounce off of his helmet. The Seattle Seahawks came from down, I think it was 16 points late. They might have been down 19 points, 19-0 in that game to force overtime, one of the ways they forced overtime, one of the key ways they forced overtime was because the Packers botched this onside kick. Well, today, Green Bay botched an onside kick, gave Caleb Williams and the Bears an opportunity to tie. It looked like Green Bay might dig in and stop Chicago on fourth down after Caleb Williams didn't really diagnose a third down blitz all too well, but he diagnosed the fourth down blitz just in the nick of time. I mean, it was close. It was very, very close, but he did diagnose the blitz and he got the ball off to the undrafted rookie. What's his name? Jade. Got to get his name. I want to get his name right in this thing. It was Jade Walker. 2 catches, 21 yards, including what I'm sure is the biggest catch of his life. An undrafted rookie had, 8 or 9 catches on the season entering this game. And then he caught the touchdown, got both feet in bounds to tie it. And then we turned around and saw the Bears. First, they stopped the Packers. They got the ball from Green Bay. There was what was it? Was it a fumble or a fourth down stop? But Green Bay started moving the ball in overtime. Got to credit Malik Willis for making some throws. By rules not authored by me, there should be a quarterback controversy in Green Bay now because Malik Willis played pretty damn well today. I'm kidding, but that's how ridiculous some of the Mac Jones, Brock Purdy talk was. Anyway, the Packers didn't score. The Bears turned around, and then we saw Caleb Williams with the absolute strike of lightning downfield for the touchdown to DJ Moore. That ended up winning this game for Chicago. We can get the box score back up on the screen. Let's analyze this. Let's go through the nitty-gritty because the Bears' next game is against the San Francisco 49ers on Sunday Night Football. Let's, just realize this. The 49ers play Monday night against Indianapolis. So that's a primetime game. Then the 49ers play next Sunday night against the Bears. That's a primetime game. I think that the 49ers and the Seahawks, January 4th, are probably in the lead to be flexed on January 4th to Sunday Night Football. So there's a really good chance that the 49ers finish this season with 3 consecutive primetime games against Phillip Rivers and the Colts, Caleb Williams and the Bears, who you just saw beat the Packers, and then the Seattle Seahawks, helmed by Sam Darnold, the former 49er Sam Darnold. This, I said it a couple weeks ago, and now I'm going to double, triple, quadruple down on it. This is the most compelling 3-game stretch that we've ever seen in the Kyle Shanahan era. And thanks to the Bears, that 3-game stretch just got even more intense. So these are the offensive stats from the game today. Caleb Williams, I thought that he struggled for a lot of it. It was really windy in Chicago. I still have questions about how poorly Caleb picks up some of these blitzes. There was that one intentional grounding call that he took on third down that forced the Bears to kick a really long field goal. That there are just negative plays that have to have Ben Johnson pulling his hair out. And they're negative plays that Robert Saleh is going to try to scheme around, that he's going to try to prey on with the 49ers defense next week. But you know who preys on other quarterbacks' mistakes really well? The Chicago Bears defense. They entered this game leading the league in turnover margin, and they also entered this game leading the league with 30 takeaways, and they ended up getting another fumble in this football game. I don't think that there was an interception. I'm looking to see if there were interceptions. No, there were no interceptions in this one. So another fumble went the Bears' way in this game. They ended up +1 in turnover margin, and obviously in a game that you win 22-16 in overtime, that +1 in turnover margin usually is a big, big deal. Exactly 400 total yards of offense for the Bears, 6.7 per play. They have to be taken seriously. I mean, let's go to the standings. This is a Chicago team that has worked its way toward the very top of the NFC. They are 11-4. If the 49ers hold serve and beat the Colts on Monday night, they also will be 11-4. So it will be the 2 seed against the 5 seed next Sunday if San Francisco can win on Monday. A pair of 11-4 teams. The point differential for the Bears is +33, so it's a little bit worse than the 49ers. So you can argue that they've outperformed their metrics when it comes to the actual record, but you could say the same thing about the 49ers. who are plus 51 in point differential. That falls far shy of the Rams, who are plus 158, far shy of the Seattle Seahawks, who are plus 164, even shy of the Green Bay Packers, who are plus 61. But that doesn't really matter, right? The record is what's going to determine where these teams fall in terms of playoff seeding. And the Chicago Bears now in a very, very firm driver's seat when it comes to that NFC North. They will have a chance to clinch it next week against the 49ers. The 49ers will have a chance to take another step toward the number 1 seed. And the Chicago Bears are also still in line for the number 1 seed. If they get some help from the outside, they will need the 49ers to beat the Seattle Seahawks in Week 18. Or the Seattle Seahawks can lose to the Carolina Panthers. So there's still a lot to happen. That Seahawks-Panthers game is going to be happening tomorrow. So that is a look at the standings. By the way, let me go right back to these. If the playoffs started today, Seattle would have the bye week as the number 1 seed. The Bears as the 2 would play Green Bay. There would be a rematch of that great game that we just saw at Soldier Field, right back at Soldier Field. And I only bring this up for the purpose of entertainment, just to really illustrate how playoff seedings work. So it would be 2 against 7 in the wild card round. Chicago hosting Green Bay. The Eagles would host the 49ers. 3 would host 6. The Bucks would host the Rams. Now, a lot can change starting tomorrow. The Bucks and the Panthers play. And, that's a race for the worst division in football. If the Panthers win, they will be in the driver's seat of the NFC South, and they will take the spot of the Bucks here at number 4, which would mean that the 5 seed, and after Monday, that could be the 49ers if they beat the Colts. The 5 seed would be scheduled to head to the 4 seed if the playoffs ended after this week. They won't, but I'm just doing this for argument's sake. And that would mean that the 49ers would be traveling to Carolina if the Panthers win tomorrow. So it's a little complicated, convoluted. All you have to know is that the top 4 seeds are all going to be division winners. And then it's going to be wild card teams. And the 49ers will climb from 6 to 5 ahead of the Rams if they can win against the Colts. As of right now, like this very second, it would be San Francisco at Philadelphia in the wild card round, 6 visiting 3. But it's way too early to say that would actually happen because the 49ers can still climb all the way up to number 1. And if you're number 1, that means that you don't have to play in the wild card round. It is an automatic win for you in that wild card round. But wow, Caleb Williams, I think that he has definitely progressed. I mean, he was god-awful last year, and we said that if you match Caleb Williams with Ben Johnson in his second year, that should definitely make Caleb Williams a little bit better. But I still think that there are major, major flaws with that Chicago offense. Ben Johnson infamously said a few weeks ago, we are winning in spite of our pass game, not because of it. Well, today I had to hold my breath several times when Caleb Williams dropped back to pass, but he undeniably has the ability to put some of those footballs in a bucket downfield like he did to DJ Moore, and that automatically makes him a dangerous NFL quarterback. He can also run. I think that he bails and tries to run a little too often. I mean, and that's been the book on Caleb Williams ever since he was at USC, right? So many of the plays at USC, he was just running around, scrambling. Stuff would ultimately break down because he was a better athlete than most of the defenders chasing him, and then he would be able to use some of the arm talent to make a big play downfield. At the NFL level, to be sustainably successful, you have to play on time, period. If you can't play on time at the NFL level, ultimately defensive coordinators are going to get you. And I think that we've seen stuff catch up to Caleb Williams many times already over the course of his NFL career because he isn't playing on time. But at the very biggest moments today, he was able to play on time, like the throw to DJ Moore that we saw to win this game. And the Bears definitely capitalized on the fact that the Packers were not nearly as explosive as they normally are offensively after Jordan Love went down. Love, by the way, he leads the NFL in QBR. Brock Purdy is number 2, and I think Purdy's going to have enough snaps to qualify after this weekend. We'll see. Let's hope that Jordan Love comes back soon. We never want players out for a prolonged time with injuries, especially it looked like a concussion for Jordan Love, looked like a head injury for Love. But we'll see if he hangs on to that QBR lead. I think, though, as well as Malik Willis played today, and he gets a lot of credit for developing as a QB as well, give LaFleur and his staff a lot of love there. As well as he played today, it is very important to remember that Jordan Love has been one of the most efficient guys in the entire league. So, props to Green Bay for being able to hang in there even after losing Love, but that they are markedly worse as an offense when he is not out on the field, even if Malik Willis is playing really, really good football. Take a look at this right here. I put this up a little bit earlier today. This might help illustrate some of what I'm talking about. This is third down efficiency. I challenge you guys to find Brock Purdy on this third and fourth down efficiency chart. It's completion percentage over expectation on the x-axis, and it's going to be expected points added, so efficiency on the y-axis. Can you guys find Brock Purdy? Can you find Brock Purdy? Are you looking in the right place? Well, I'm about to give you a hint. I just circled Brock Purdy's name in the upper right. That is how insanely good Brock Purdy has been on third down and fourth down, which are the quarterback's downs this year. He's been, by far, he has broken the graph. Show this to anybody who doesn't believe in what Brock Purdy is doing. It has been absolutely awesome. He started 7 of 7 on those third downs against the Tennessee Titans. But the reason I bring this up is because Jordan Love has been the second most efficient quarterback on third downs. You got Purdy way up here, but Love on the vertical EPA axis has been second. And then Josh Allen is third. And, the truly elite guys in this game are going to deliver on the money downs on third and fourth downs. And losing Jordan Love today was big for the Packers because you lose a third down machine. They also have receiver injuries, but again, it goes back to my original point. The Packers are the first true, contending team to start moving toward the level of injury decimation that the 49ers have suffered this year, and the Packers have not taken it well. Since losing Parsons last week against the Denver Broncos, they are 0-2. They've lost to Denver. They have now lost to the Chicago Bears. It is not easy to pick up the slack of the talent that you lose at this level, because it's hard to maintain the type of depth at this level to allow you to plow forward. And that's what has made this 49ers season so remarkable. I want to go back to the box score of this game. We've taken a look at this, at the standings. This is exciting. I mean, tomorrow we're probably going to see some movement in the AFC front. I just wanted to scroll up and look at this for you guys. You've got Denver playing Jacksonville tomorrow. By the way, I've got the team tier chart. Hold on. Let's get this up on the screen, because the team tier chart will help us visualize where both of those teams are and also allow us to look at what's going on tomorrow. I need to get this up on the screen. I think I have it in a different tab, but this is going to be something that, here it is, found it. This really helps us reset in the midst of this wild weekend. All right, we've got the team tier chart. Now we just got to find the stream again, and we've got to toss this up onto the screen. Boom, there you go. All right, so you've got offense on the left, right, the x-axis, and you've got defense on the y-axis. The Bears and the 49ers are in a similar spot. Now, I think that the 49ers are much better offensively than what is shown here, because 8 of the games were played with Mac Jones, who, again, did a great job as QB2, but Brock Purdy has been absolutely transcendent for the 49ers this season. Purdy is, I just showed you the third down stats for Brock Purdy. The QBR might have surpassed Jordan Love's, because I think Love probably dropped a little bit today. He's still either number 1 or number 2 in QBR. Purdy has been elite. He's been awesome. That means you could probably put the 49ers way over here on the right offensively, especially if they can get Ricky Pearsall back for the stretch run. The big question is, where is this 49ers defense going to be over these final 3 games against the Colts, against the Bears, and then against the Seattle Seahawks? Is the defense going to be somewhere in this territory? Is it going to angle more toward the Dallas Cowboys? Is it going to be a stabilized defense like I've talked about a lot over the past few weeks to put the 49ers in a similar spot as the Bills and maybe the Green Bay Packers? Was the defense going to be even better than that? And that could put the 49ers near the Rams. And I don't think that's likely, but I do have to mention that the 49ers are going to be returning 5 defensive starters in all likelihood for this game against the Indianapolis Colts, which could give them a little bit of a boost to truly stabilize the unit and bring it into one of the top 2 tiers. And this doesn't include special teams, where the 49ers rank number 2 in the league behind only the Seattle Seahawks. By the way, related side note, the Los Angeles Rams today fired their special teams coordinator. It's like if Sean McVay is Darth Vader, one of his lieutenants not doing a good job, he just used the force choke on him, and the special teams coordinator is gone for the Rams. And the Rams now, I think that it's a rather desperate ploy from the Rams here. You're not going to repair the special teams unit overnight. There are fundamental issues with that Rams special teams unit that will probably take an offseason overhaul, just like the 49ers special teams overhaul. They went from number 32 all the way up to number 1/number 2 this year. They're neck and neck with the Seattle Seahawks ever since they cut Jake Moody. So I don't think that the Rams can really fix this overnight, but they certainly will take a swing at that, because as we saw on Thursday night, the special teams is threatening to derail what has been an awesome season offensively and defensively for the Rams. They're in the top right. I think that Purdy is playing better than Matthew Stafford. I've shown the data to illustrate that, but regardless of that, Stafford is still playing at a high level. The defense is playing at a much higher level than the 49ers. The run game for the Rams is playing at a better level than San Francisco's. They deserve to be up here in the upper right of the offense-defense chart, but special teams, that third phase of the game, is something that has bit them and I think might continue to bite them. And I think it's the great equalizer, the great ace in the hole for the 49ers. It has been for the Seattle Seahawks as well. And it really gives us a third dimension to this graph that I love to show you on a week-by-week basis. But there is a third dimension that we cannot forget about. Now, Jacksonville, you could see them here behind the Eagles logo. The Jags are creeping. And I'm going to show you a split here in a second that's going to, I think, should drop some jaws. We're going to take a look at the last 5 weeks or so. We're going to take a look at the time since Brock Purdy has returned to see who's playing really, really well at this point of the season. Jacksonville, though, is 10-4. They play the Denver Broncos, who are right next to them here. I believe that game is Mile High. I believe that game is on the road. That's going to be a huge game in the AFC. And I think that Jacksonville is a team that people are sleeping on right now. If there's a sleeper in the league, it might be the Jacksonville Jags. Let me bust this out into the split that I promised. We're going to go regular season weeks 11 to 18 on team tiers here. And the reason that I took notice of Jacksonville was because of this chart. Like, I don't follow AFC South teams as closely as I follow NFC teams, especially after the 49ers have already played them. So I'm going back to the chart now, but this is just the past 5 weeks, 11 through 16, basically dating back to when the 49ers got Brock Purdy back in the lineup. So a month and a half or so, look where Jacksonville is. They have been the most efficient team in football, offensively and defensively, without the special teams over the course of the last 5 games. The Rams have also been good, but the defense hasn't been quite as good. The defense has started to take a step back over the past few weeks. The 49ers have been better defensively. They've been above average, but I don't think they played great offenses over their last 4 games. So you have to take that with a grain of salt. But what this tells you is just based on how teams are performing most recently, the Jags are a definite dark horse that people aren't talking about enough. They play a Denver Broncos team on the road that is a couple tiers below them as far as performance goes over the course of the past 5 weeks. The Broncos defense has not been nearly as good as it was early in the season. Now, the offense has been better for Denver. I think Bo Nix is underrated at this point. So I just see this as an epic clash between a surging Jacksonville team analytically and a Denver Broncos team, which is surging. What are they now? 11 straight wins, 10 or 11 straight wins. They're surging in the win-loss column in a way that people wouldn't expect, given the fact that the defense has dropped off, that they are turning into a complete team. So I'm going to be watching that with a lot of interest, because the only team to beat Brock Purdy and the 49ers this year, the only team to beat San Francisco when Purdy has been starting, is Jacksonville. So, at the time, people thought that was some kind of terrible loss for the 49ers. It really wasn't. Purdy was playing not at 100%. Jacksonville seems to be really good. They're 10-4, and they play the Broncos this weekend. Now, if we're looking at recent performance, 49ers have been much better offensively than the Bears. And I think that tracks. Today, again, this was not an insanely impressive offensive performance for Chicago. They were playing a Packers team without Micah Parsons. He tore his ACL last week. So, they managed, and just by the skin of their teeth, the Bears managed 16 points in regulation. Had they not recovered that onside kick, we're probably talking about a 9-point Bears performance. They don't even get 10 against the defense not having Micah Parsons at home. So you have to look at all of these factors that allowed the Bears to get up to the 22 points in overtime. And then you actually have to look at the efficiency in this game. I love going to the box scores. Let's see what the EPA score for Caleb Williams and company was in this football game. Got it right here. Perfect. So Malik Willis was really, really good efficiency-wise. The allegations of a quarterback controversy in Green Bay are not going to be easy to beat given this. Take a look at the efficiency from today's game. A green bar is good, a red bar is bad. We've got a whole lot of green. Some solid quarterback play in this game. And hats off to Malik Willis for what he was able to do. But again, the Packers were unable to win, despite the fact that they got such good play out of their backup, such efficient play out of their backup. It is not easy to win with reserves in this league. I just want to highlight how impressive the 49ers have been to get to where they are now at this record, despite the fact that they have had to play 8 games with Mac Jones and most of the season without Bosa and most of the season without Fred Warner. Caleb Williams, though, that this is an efficient performance for Caleb. Hats off to Caleb Williams. And I think that touchdown at the end really did push things forward in the right direction. The question will be, how sustainable is it? Because there was a lot on tape today, I can guarantee you, that wasn't as pretty for Caleb Williams, especially when he was facing some of those Green Bay blitzes. He finally beat one on the game-tying touchdown to the rookie undrafted free agent. But prior to that, Green Bay, again, this was on track to be a 9-point offensive performance for Chicago until they recovered that onside kick. And prior to that, the Packers defense minus Micah Parsons was giving the Chicago Bears a whole lot of trouble. We're going to go back to the box score right now. What a week. First that Seattle Rams game. Now this. Now I have to get on a red-eye flight. Going to end up in Nashville by the morning. I'll watch all the games, react to those games. We'll talk tomorrow morning, and then it'll be off to Indianapolis on Monday. Just now booked my hotel for Indy, by the way. Figured that'd be a surgical strike. Monday to Tuesday as the 49ers take on the Indianapolis Colts. Well, one thing I want to go over is the run game. The Packers today racked up 192 yards on the Bears. Now, 44 of those were from the quarterback, Malik Willis, another 7 for Jordan Love. So about 151 yards out of the 192 yards came from the QB position. But that counts as well. The Packers used a couple backs. Emmanuel Wilson, who's the bigger bruiser, the bowling ball, and Josh Jacobs is also really physical. They used a couple backs to rack up some of this yardage. It was workmanlike. It seemed to become more pronounced as the game went along, but you could say the same thing going in the other direction, The Bears, running two different running backs plus Caleb Williams, gained 150 yards on the ground. And I thought that holes really started to open up in the fourth quarter for Chicago. A big key for the 49ers against the Bears is going to be to jump out to a two-possession lead or a multi-possession lead. And I think that the 49ers are going to have more juice than the Packers did today offensively. And that is going to force the Bears to be in more of a standard drop-back game, which I think is clearly where Caleb Williams is still a very volatile asset, right? It's up and down with Caleb Williams. There was up at the end of this game. He made a couple highlight reel plays to tie and to win it, and those help the final efficiency score, and those obviously count. But if the 49ers can get the Bears in a position where Caleb Williams has to rely, like Ben Johnson has to rely on Caleb Williams to make those kind of plays on a down-in, down-out basis, that's when you're going to start to get the intentional groundings. That's when you're going to start to get some of the mistakes, maybe some strip sacks. That's when you can get just overall offensive volatility from Chicago that could really tilt the game in your favor. If you don't do that, if the 49ers can't get off to a good start against Chicago, that's where the Bears' run game, which we saw today, finished with those 150 yards with DeAndre Swift and company. They've got a good offensive line. That's where the Chicago run game can give the 49ers massive issues down the stretch, because we know that San Francisco, with some of these injuries, and I know they're getting guys back, so maybe this can change a little bit, but they did not look good in ground defense against the Tennessee Titans this past week. So you want to make the Bears go to the pass as opposed to the run game, which can control the game. And that's going to be, I think, a even bigger challenge for the 49ers coming off a short week. They play Indianapolis on Monday. Chicago is going to have an extra day of rest before December 28th, Sunday Night Football. So Chicago has this 8-day week. The 49ers have a 6-day week. And is that fair for the 49ers? Maybe not, but this year they've generally had a favorable schedule when it comes to rest. This is one of those situations that reminds you of 2024 when they had a bad net rest differential. It was one of the worst, maybe the worst, I think, in NFL history. That schedule sunk the 49ers in 2024. I think one piece of good news, and it didn't seem like good news at the start of the year, but is good news for them now, is that they had the bye so late. So the 49ers should be relatively fresh, and they are getting all these defenders back. For this game against the Colts, they should be relatively fresh on the aggregate. Maybe not on the day short of rest, but on the aggregate heading into this final stretch against the Colts, the Bears, and then against the Seattle Seahawks. All right, I'm going to answer some questions. We got over 1,000 of you in here. This is great. It's Saturday night. I've got to head to the airport in a little bit, but I think the flight is not until midnight and it is only 9:08 p.m. I still, you guys know my policy, right? If I have to wait at the gate, I have lost. Now, today I might go a little bit earlier to get some food. TBD, we'll see how I feel, but I do not like waiting any extra time at the airport. Any waiting time should be productive time spent outside of the airport. That is my general theory. Now, I showed you the big picture today from the 2014 NFC Championship game where the Packers blew the onside kick. I want to go to another semi-blast from the past picture because we need to talk about NFC tiebreakers. There are only two teams in the NFC with an 8-2, or there are only two teams in the NFL. There's only one team in the NFC with an 8-2 conference record, and that is a big tiebreaker. But there are only two teams in the entire NFL with an 8-2 in-conference record. One in the NFC, one in the AFC. Here are their two head coaches. Yes, that's Jim Harbaugh. The Chargers are 8-2 in the AFC. Kyle Shanahan's 49ers are 8-2 in the NFC. Why is this important? Well, you look at the potential tiebreakers, and I know right now the Chargers are 10-4 and they're behind the Denver Broncos. But what's happening right now is that the Chargers have an edge over Buffalo for the 5 seed because they have a better conference record than Buffalo, who's 7-3. It might even be more important in the NFC, where the 49ers, with that 8-2 conference record, with good divisional play, if they win out, they will be the 1 seed, even if the record is the same as the Seattle Seahawks. So we always say that conference games are more important for this reason, because the conference record is higher up on the pecking order than most other tiebreakers, and the 49ers are definitely in good position in that regard. All right, time for me to answer some questions. Then I've got to head to the airport. What a game. Caleb Williams, Malik Willis, Jordan Love, good quarterback performances all around really in this game. Unfortunately, Love got hurt early. I'll show you guys the QBR leaderboard in just a second. One hint is that it does reflect some of that third down prowess that we've seen from Brock Purdy as he's broken that XY chart. Ready for your questions. Why do people think that Pickens is going to head to the Niners in 2026? I think the 49ers are definitely going to be on the market for a receiver. They probably will be on the draft hunt for a receiver. I'm not sure if it's going to be George Pickens, though. I know that they were interested in him as trade compensation for Brandon Ayuk, but in 2024, but the Steelers didn't want to put Pickens into that trade package. And I don't know if anything's changed. I never thought that Pickens was the most reliable downfield blocker. That's really important for the 49ers. But I did report that Pickens was somebody the 49ers were interested in 2024. I think that things might have changed, though, as we head into 2026. Will DeForest Buckner be a problem? DeForest Buckner is always a problem. He's one of the better interior players in all football, back from a neck injury for the Colts against San Francisco on Monday. I think the 49ers will likely be favored over the Chicago Bears next week, but it's going to be a very, very tight spread. And if you're the 49ers right now, you've got to worry about what's next, and that's Indianapolis. That's Phillip Rivers. I spoke earlier today, no Renardo Green for the 49ers. They're going to have to go to Darrell Luter Jr. instead. Green still has a sore neck. They're going to be playing a team that's one of the best in the NFL as far as rushing efficiency goes with Jonathan Taylor. One piece of good news for the 49ers is that Darrell Luter Jr. is the number 3 ranked cornerback in terms of run defense grade in the whole league. He's more physical than Renardo Green, and that matchup may actually end up working out for the 49ers in this game, because they're going to, especially with Phillip Rivers, I don't expect him to be gung-ho about attacking far downfield. He is 44 years old. I expect short throws like we saw against Seattle. I expect the run game to be a heavy emphasis for the Colts. I think the 49ers will need to be zeroed in on good run support, crack down strong from that cornerback position. And I think that somebody like Darrell Luter Jr. has shown an ability to do that at a very high level in his time filling in this year. Has filled in for Renardo Green already a couple times. DJ Moore, could we see him, or you could see him in a 49ers jersey? What's Moore's contract situation like? I'm going to over the cap. It was a hell of a catch. It was a hell of a throw. We will see Moore playing against the 49ers. I mean, Moore is under contract for quite a bit long time. He signed that extension with the Bears in 2024, so he's under contract all the way through 2029. Currently in his age 28 season, he's under contract all the way through his age 32 season. Thanks for the super chats. Thanks for the memberships. Everybody could sign up to be a member of the channel. We are blowing up. If you hit that subscribe button, you could be part of the path to 100,000. We are not like the other channels. A lot more people watch us. We also don't take gambling money, which I think might mean something to some of you. So we don't have any gambling sponsorships. We actually cover the 49ers accurately. We actually cover Brock Purdy accurately. I invite you all to hit the subscribe button. I invite you all to join as members. You can do that to support the channel. And another way you can support the channel is to check out the San Francisco Standard, where we've got our predictions for 49ers Colts up. Tim Kawakami has predicted 9 games in a row correctly for the 49ers. I cannot say that my streak is as impressive. So he's going for 10 in a row. And he has actually predicted that the 49ers will lose to the Colts. I think that they're going to win. I think San Francisco is going to win this 31-21. But everybody's entitled to their own opinion here. I mean, it's hard to predict football. We'll see if Tim is correct or if he's incorrect. But please do subscribe to The Standard, to this YouTube channel. We already have several more subscribers ever since I just said that right now. We are on the way to be the first channel covering the 49ers to 100,000 subscribers. We're at 95,932 as we speak. Back to the comment section for me. How's it going in there? Jim Everett's back. Jim, we were all making fun of you on Thursday night. It looks like it took you a while to lick your wounds after that win. Actually, that Seahawks win, that Rams loss. But yeah, this would be the first 49ers channel to 100,000 subscribers because we don't buy fake subscribers. There are a lot of channels that have faked their way to illegitimate subscribers because they purchased those subscribers, but they don't get any views. And we're going to be to 100,000 legitimately. Appreciate everybody signing up right now. We're getting a lot of you signing up right now, which is really cool. And we also will continue to absolutely dominate everybody in views. Like it's 10-1 in some of the view counts of these videos. So thanks for everybody for recognizing that this is the highest quality 49ers channel that there is. Heck yes. We got people that watch this and no one, you don't need to watch anyone else. This is, there is just a callous disregard for truth and what's actually happening in the NFL around the 49ers, around so much of the internet. So just trying to bring some reason back to the equation. And, sometimes reason is brought through a look at staggering numbers. We can just leave you guys with this. That's where Brock Purdy is at in terms of third down performance. A lot of people, for some reason, don't want to show you stuff like this, but the data is the data. The facts are the facts. The performance is the performance. This is the quarterback's down or the quarterback's downs, third and fourth down. Purdy is breaking the graph. He didn't play till Monday, though. And then he plays next week against the Chicago Bears. It's going to be a lot of fun. Everybody, thanks for watching. Another very fun instant reaction. We'll talk to you very soon.